Hey guys, Zach Lego here, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Danganronpa V3 Killing Harmony. We are here jumping into the third class trial, where we're gonna figure out who the hell killed, I guess, both Tenko and Angie. I feel like we should be focusing mainly on one, but we gotta find two, which I feel like I know exactly who did it. But you know, yeah. I'm gonna do a bit of a prediction beforehand. So what I think happened, I think Kyo is easily. I'm 90% sure Kyo is the Blacken for both murders. Because what I think happened was, his main goal was to kill somebody during the whole, seance thing that we did. But what happened was, since as we went under the floorboard, we saw some things got, cut. He had to cut some parts of the floorboard, get it all set up. So he actually had to have preparation for, beforehand to prepare for this. So what I think happened was, while he was kind of preparing to get the seance, Angie kind of just walked in on him preparing for a murder, and he was like, ah, frick, okay, I gotta kill you now, because he didn't want Angie to tell anybody else what the frick he was doing. So he then had to kill Angie, which what he did was he took the floorboard, hit her with it, which explains the dry blood under that one floorboard and the dry blood on the bottom of, under the floorboard. And then he duct taped her head, brought her over to her lab, took the sword from his lab, stabbed her in her neck, set up the whole locker room thing, putting the sword in the Kaede thing, wax effigy, spun around, left, while it unspun, locked the door. And then that was all that. And then we come over to the actual seance, where during the seance, while all the freaking dark light was not there, pitch black, while we were singing, he slowly walks over and kind of just steps on the loose floorboard, which I have kind of skipped some things. He set the weapon up, the sickle, I think it was. I think that's what it was. For when he put the tarp over the cage, he slid in a little sickle there, so the sickle would be hanging right over Tenko's neck. So then, while it was dark, he ran over, stepped on the floorboard, launched Tenko's body up, her neck then collided with the sickle, she dead. I think that's basically what happened. I think this is going to be the second trial in a row where I know exactly what happened. Or third in a row, actually. I need more skills. I have a few skill points. I don't need any skills. Who needs skills? At this point, I think I should raise the difficulty. Should I raise the difficulty to mean? Should I do? I'm gonna keep it normal, because I feel like I'll really regret raising it to mean, and I'll fail, instantly. I feel like I'll really regret bringing the difficulty up to mean. I will really regret my decisions.
Now then, let's begin with the basic explanation of the class trial.
I think we know what a trial is at this point, since I've played, if I'm correct, this is gonna be my 15th class trial in this series.
During the trial, you'll present your arguments for who the culprit is, and vote correct. I'll punish also.
I'm a frickin' detective. I think I know what trials are.
Result in your now smile.
Sorry, everyone. I don't think I'm gonna be much help this time.
Kaito, you're never any help. You never help.
Because of Monokuma's disruptions, I couldn't do a thorough investigation.
Even when you do a thorough investigation, you have no help at all.
Monokuma is overcompensating to hide his self-consciousness.
Traceable.
Next time, spend less time fixing your hair and more time investigating, spaceman.
Shut up! I don't need to hear some comedy act from you two weirdos.
Who did it? Who killed Angie and
Do not let your emotions hasten your judgment. There may be two killers.
Oh, there's one killer.
So,
Just one killer.
our other culprit might not be one of us here.
What do you mean?
The transfer student. Maybe our resurrected transfer student dragged Angie and Tenko into the grave.
Stop it! Stop making stuff up!
Say something, Shuichi. It'll be a mess if this keeps going on.
Is it even possible for a revived corpse to be the culprit? Well, in the interest of being thorough, I should clear things up here. That makes total sense. We bring Rantaro back to life, and the first thing he wants to do when we bring him back to life, kill two people. And then go back to being dead.
By the recently deceased. They came back to life and killed two of our classmates.
No! So, ritual did work?
No, book was not burned. It said right there, the ritual had to work by you burning the book, and the book, I'm pretty certain with my 2 eyes, I look at the
I don't
crime
think
scene, the
Angie's
book is right
ritual
there.
succeeded. According to the Necronomicon Monokuma showed us, you have to burn the Necronomicon in the ritual.
Yes, it said you to burn it. Imagine Angie died from
If
the freaking
Angie's
carbon
ritual had
monoxide
succeeded,
poison. She
the book
was
would
not
have been
careful
gone.
about it and then freaking breathes it in and dies.
So she must have been killed before the ritual was
The
complete.
culprit of this case
Since the
is
book
the
was
book
still intact.
itself. The book
Then-
killed her.
Gonta think
We need to
Red
execute
Carl
the
probably
book.
not culprit.
Oh, I guess you're right.
Well, duh. There's no way a dead person could resurrect.
Now hold on a second. I can't let that comment stand. Sure, everybody knows that you can't bring the dead back to life, but it's easy at the Ultimate Academy, as long as you use the Necronomicon.
What are you talking about? There's no way that's possible.
But it's true. I never lie about motives.
Daddy says...
Man,
Here's the thing, we never used it. So that means I'm just gonna say that it will never happen.
So resurrecting the dead was actually possible this whole time?
There's no way it's possible.
There's no way that could happen, idiots. Monokuma is trying to confuse us. Let's hurry up and find out who the Blackened is.
If our transfer student isn't the culprit, then blame falls to one of us.
Who? Who did it? Step aside, Half Pint. I'll handle this. I don't know about Tenko, but I'm pretty fucking sure Kyo murdered Angie.
I feel like she's right, but for the wrong reason.
Why?
Don't play dumb with me, Creepshow. I already know what happened.
I think she's correct about that, but her reasons are gonna be incorrect. Aren't there back for
The
lots?
culprit used a katana to kill
No, wait, time out. What truth bolt do I use?
Angie.
What do I use? Excuse me. What was Sneaky's account again? You lock yourself in alternate labs, and say what kind of ritual can unlock the door for anybody of the student council.
And it was found in Kyo's research lab. Which makes you, Kyo, automatically suspicious.
But
Yes.
anyone could have taken that katana, you see.
So that rusty
Anybody could
katana
have
was
taken
the
it,
murder
including
weapon.
me. I could have definitely taken
You were the only one who cared about that thing, Kyo.
I did not care about some katana.
Just admit it, you shit-eating worm. You went to the classroom, broke in, and murdered the fuck out of
Oh yeah,
Angie.
broke in. So
Yeah, I'm a fucking genius. The culprit.
so if I go to Kiki's lockpicking, Kiki and lock the front door, open the lab. Let's go. Front door. Okay. I know it's that, but which truth bolt do I use? I'm gonna try the account. Let's try it. Let's give it a try here and see how this goes. If not, I'll just go one by one until one of them eventually works.
Just admit it, you shit-eating worm. You went to the classroom.
That one worked. It did work.
That's wrong.
Perfect. He was correct. Kyo is
No,
indeed the
Kyo
killer
would
for
not
both
have been able
cases,
to
but
make
her
it
reasons
last.
are way off.
Isn't that right, Tsumugi?
Yeah. Before Angie locked herself up in her research lab, she said she wasn't going to open up for anyone but student council members.
And Kyo is not a member. She wouldn't have opened the door for him.
Kyo couldn't have killed Angie even if he wanted to.
No, he could have indeed.
I had no desire to kill her in the first place.
No, you definitely did.
So whoever killed Angie must have been one of the student council members, yeah?
I was doing a bit to lead you to the right answer. Can't believe you actually got it.
Oh, how clever.
You can just ignore her, Gonta.
The remaining student council members are Gonta, Kibo, Tsumugi, and Himiko.
Well, it can't be Himiko. She was besties with Angie. I trust their friendship. You guys do too, right?
Yeah, of course.
Can we trust their friendship so readily?
Obviously. Let's believe in...
That trims our list of suspects down to 3. Gonta, Samugi, and Kibo.
Yep, the culprit is one of those 3 people.
You mean one of those 2 people? Because a robot ain't people, Jack!
I will let that remark slide. Anyway, aren't these accusations just a tad too hasty?
Hot ass, the culprit should confess already. Gonta, Keyboy, or Samugi?
No, not Gonta. Gonta would never kill Angie.
Yeah, Gonta's a gentleman. You shouldn't suspect either of us.
Hey, stick up for me too.
Gonta definitely not hurt anyone. Torture Gonta if you don't believe.
Torture might be a bit too far, but Gonta and I aren't the culprit.
And I'm not the culprit either. Jeez. I'm not the culprit.
I'm not the culprit.
We must consider other possibilities. Surely there must be suspects outside the student council.
Student council.
That's utterly impossible.
Last night.
I have to listen to 3 of them. I'm not ready for these.
Only student council members
Being out
had
too late at night.
Look, I don't know who the
Ask
culprit
my
is,
friends at Kyo Doubt Gonta.
but it's definitely not me.
Is that a robophobic remark?
What weak spot are you? What weak spot do I shoot at? What?
We must consider other possibilities.
Hold on, let me look again.
Surely there must be suspects outside
Maybe I
the student
missed
council.
Student
something.
council.
That's utterly impossible.
Last night.
A dead chick
Not just
can't be the
anyone can open
culprit.
the door. Only student council members had access.
Oh, I just found it. Wait, got it. I heard it. I barely heard it, but I didn't hear it. I didn't
No,
hear it.
it wasn't just student council members that could have opened that lab door.
What was it you said earlier about Kyo opening the door, Shuichi? Unless you're a student council member, you can't enter Angie's lab.
I was referring to Kyo. He couldn't have done it, but you could have. Because I saw you open the classroom lock by picking it.
Oh, that happened? I totally forgot.
So you're going to pretend you don't remember, huh?
Quit glaring at me like that. Of course I remember. Yeah, I did it. I killed Angie.
Wait, what? What did you just say?
I picked the lock to her lab, snuck into the room, and then wham! Killed Angie. The culprit was me.
What?
What are you saying? Is this some kind of joke?
Nah, no joke. I thought that if I confessed, I could atone for my sins. And it helped. I feel so much better.
No, he's lying. I think. Maybe?
He's lying. I'm certain of it.
No, definitely not a lie. Shouldn't you guys believe the culprit when they confess?
Then let me ask you, culprit. How did you lock the room?
Huh? Well, it's the same as opening it. You pick the door closed from the outside.
No, that doesn't make sense.
Huh? What doesn't make sense? Can't you lock a door by picking
I
it?
don't think you can lock a door by. I don't think you can lock a sliding lock door by picking it.
Maybe, but that's not how the culprit locked the room. They used a different method.
Yep.
What different method? Yeah, Mumbles. Use your big boy voice and explain yourself.
There were 2 doors to the classroom, and the one locked last was...
Back door.
That's it!
Exactly.
The back door. That's how they made this a locked room mystery.
The back door had a sliding lock, yes? How was it locked from the outside?
The culprit used a
It
certain
wasn't locked from
tool.
the outside, it was locked inside while the culprit was outside. So what the culprit used to lock the sliding lock from outside was the sword. I gotta do this. I gotta do whatever the frick this is. hold on a second. Is that just a sheath? Or is that the actual... Is that really just a sheath? No, that's a sickle. Is that... Yeah, that looks like just a sheath. So this is the sword... Oh, come on. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna start picking away. Don't run out of time. Don't run out of time. You tried to get me there, game. The game tried to get me. He threw the freaking sheath in there.
I see it.
See it. Look at my mind. I could see the thing.
The gold leaf katana that was stabbed into Coyote's effigy. The culprit used that to hit the knob of the sliding lock to lock the door.
So the gold leaf was in the sliding lock
Because when the katana hit the lock, some of the gold leaf rubbed off on it. The gold leaf on that katana did peel rather easily.
That evidence rings a bell. Specifically, a school bell. Now.
Ooh, the gold leaf landed on the sliding lock when the katana touched it. So that means the culprit used the katana to move the sliding lock. But wait, how did they move it with the katana? And from outside Angie's lab?
The clue that might give us the answer is the layout of the area it's... It was an odd setup after all. The katana stabbed into the effigy. The effigies hung upside down.
Angie didn't do that as part of the ritual?
No. Nowhere in the Necronomicon did it say you had to hang the effigies.
If it was not part of the ritual, then it must have been for a different purpose, right?
Different purpose. What could that have been? Culprits somehow used the setup to lock the room. In that case, you need to know the reason behind every step of that setup. I do it the way the culprit locked the room should be clear. More psych taxi! Yay! More it is. Have I saw right? Oh, it's me. This is probably my favorite game mode. I also like how in this game mode, to get the answer, you have to run over a person. Trying to handle the sliding line. Down. Crash into some spawn. Well done to make the katana turn the lock. Spun the effigy. Spun it around. They gave it a full spin. Oh no, the katana was stabbed to death. Now, then it'll tell me that they had to spin the effigy, I think. I can imagine everybody's like in the process of thinking what this is. You know, Shuichi is just like focusing for like a solid like 15 minutes, just like I need to do my logic, I need to do my psych tax. And everybody's looking at Shuichi's like, I'm Shuichi, I thought you had the answer. And you like tell us Shuichi's just sitting there not saying anything. Like, Shuichi, tell us the frickin' answer. He's got his eyes closed and I need to focus. I need to do my hold on. Yeah, stop talking and focus on my psych tax. I need to do my psych tax. I had to make the kind of effect of lock. It was spun. Spinning. Whoa, there's 3 answers. Okay, let's spin. Perfect. Yeah, 5 hours later, Shuichi finally realizes what he has to do. After spending that long in a freaking
The reason the culprit stuck the katana into was so that it would hit the sliding lock as the effigy spun.
Effigy.
That's right. If you spun the effigy, the rope it was hanging from would twist. Then, if you let it go, the rope would unwind and the effigy would spin the other way. And of course, the katana would spin with it.
I see. So the culprit used the katana's counterspin to push the lock into place? The culprit simply needed to spin the effigy's rope and then swiftly leave. This would cause the spinning katana to hit the sliding lock, and thus was the back door of an empty classroom locked from the inside.
Akio, you knew a good amount about that after I
Yes,
told you.
that's how
probably
Angie's
did it.
lab was locked, by using the effigy with a katana.
Born from the heart of a sword, traveling through the air to intercept. But could it have moved the slide lock so easily?
The sliding lock was pretty loose. A little push could move it. As long as the spinning katana hit the lock, it would have slid into position.
Even if the culprit failed the first couple times, they could keep trying until it locked.
Which is why the culprit chose to strike at nighttime as to avoid detection.
Yes, since the student council prohibited anyone from walking around tonight.
Are you saying it's the student council's fault?
I didn't say that.
In any case, the culprit probably used the murder weapon for this trick. It had to have been the right length to hit the sliding lock from the effigy.
The culprit couldn't find a blade long enough in my lab, so they settled for the katana.
The other effigies were only hung up, so we figured it was some kind of ceremony. That way, you wouldn't notice the lock trick.
But Kokichi did say earlier that he could have picked the lock closed. I don't want to completely ignore that possibility, but I can't imagine the culprit would have done all this just for a distraction.
If that's the case, then Kokichi's confession earlier was...
Seriously? You fucking lied again?
Cough it up, Kokichi!
Man, you guys got me. Okay, I'm not the culprit.
You're telling the truth this time, right?
I want to say I'm lying, but I'm not.
Why did you say you were the culprit?
I wanted to lure the culprit out. If I claimed to be the culprit, then the real culprit would agree as well. And if they pressured me to confess, then that would have looked mighty suspicious. Sheesh. Darn it. It didn't go my way because Shuichi butted in on my plan.
You and your fucking lies! Go sit in the corner and play with yourself!
Okay, I'll start right now.
Alright, so who's the asshole who set up this locked room mystery?
You. I can't hold it up anymore.
What's the matter? You going soft on me now?
Who made the locked room mystery doesn't matter since anyone could have done it. Don't you even understand something as basic as that, you filthy cum dumpster?
Cum dumpster! Finally! Someone finally called me a cum dumpster!
What should we talk about now?
We must focus not on the locked room, but on who entered Angie's lab. Only one of the student council members or Kokichi could have gained entry. Therefore, the culprit must be among their number.
That leaves us with 4 suspects. Tsumugi, Gonta, Kibo, and Kokichi.
Don't forget Himiko. She's also a part of the student council. Doesn't matter if she was besties with Angie, she's still a suspect.
That contradicts what you said earlier, which I can prove using my recording file.
It's fine. It's just a waste of time.
Suspect? Never kill Angie!
So, calling all suspects, what should we discuss next? I want to hear everyone's opinion. What would you say to get yourself off the
Why are you trying to lead the debate? You're a suspect too.
Silence, outsider. Only the suspect rangers are allowed to speak.
Suspect rangers?
I agree. Those under suspicion should explain themselves thoroughly.
We might catch them with their pants down.
Anyway, I want to ask the suspect ranger, what should we talk about? What should we say to get ourselves off the suspect list? Well, guys, I want to hear what you think.
That's sort of a difficult question, you know?
Gonta not smart enough to know answer to that.
Yes, it is difficult to formulate a...
Not articulate with words, huh? Don't you guys want to prove your innocence?
They don't trust you one bit, and I don't blame them. You're probably plotting...
Did Tenko have to die?
Huh?
I want to know what happened to Angie too, but Can we talk about Tenko's case now and not just Angie?
I got you exactly where I wanted, Himiko.
What do you mean?
The two victims could have been killed by two separate murderers, you know. So we need to find the first Blackened responsible for the first victim. Gotta figure out who killed Angie. Until we solve Angie's case, Tenko's case is meaningless. Would you suggest that to waste our time?
It's not meaningless!
Here you go.
Tenko's death was meaningless? How dare you! Poor Tenko! How could you do this to her?
Himiko, stop it with your crappy lies.
Lies?
Everything you said is total BS. You didn't give two shits about Tenko when she was alive. But now you're like, oh no, poor Tenko, after she's dead. Come on, really?
Kokichi, enough!
No. It's okay. It's no surprise he'd think that. I know I ignored Tenko before. That's why I'm so upset now. I should have faced Tenko. Worked things out with her while she was still alive. And now it's too late. I can't complain to her. I'll thank her. It's too late.
Yeah, seriously! It's way too late to realize that now. Our only option is to face her death head on. Himiko, I understand what you're going through, so I'm gonna help you out. Let's work together to find the truth. I'm not gonna let anyone say her death didn't matter.
Kaito. All right. I'll put a silencing curse on whoever calls Tenko's death meaningless. The name of the curse is Death Curse.
Listen up! All you guys are gonna help out too. Abandoning someone who died and only thinking about your own survival. That's just as bad as a hit and run. I won't forgive something so messed up.
Tenko was our friend. Gonta want to know why she died too.
I already told you that's so unnecessary. We're getting sidetracked.
No, even if it was a different culprit, we need to know how Tenko died. If we don't find out who killed her, we won't be able to work together. Not now, not ever. Even if this trial isn't for her. In order for us to survive, we need to get to the bottom of Tenko's death. Not just to survive this trial, but so we can keep going and live on!
Kaito.
Finally, you noticed. Jeez, you're so slow.
Huh? Did Kokichi want to?
Don't listen to his crap. We haven't decided whether there were two different culprits yet.
Let us talk about Tenko's case then. Perhaps that will provide us a clue.
Yeah, maybe.
They're not wrong, but I don't mind going over Tenko's case. That was an abrupt change of topic. Was that intentional?
So, what do we talk about first?
For now, let's see if we can narrow down the list of suspects.
Tancrotch probably got killed during the seance, so everyone there's suspicious. Tancrotch!
People who attended the seance. Okay. There we go. I was gonna have to read through each one, but that's correct. Me, Kyo,
It was
Kokichi,
me,
and here we go.
Kyo, Himiko, and Kokichi.
So those four are the culprits!
Oh, Himiko's still culprit.
Well, that's probably just a coinkydink. The most suspicious out of the four, Kyo. He suggested the whole seance idea.
True, I may have suggested it, but I explained the procedure beforehand. If we all knew of it before the murder, then we are all equally suspicious.
Well, I suppose...
In addition, the seance wasn't entirely in my control. I was not the one who selected the room we performed it in. It was Himiko.
Oh.
Also, we should not limit our suspects to only those who participated in the seance. The empty room had a point of entry from outside, you see.
An entry from outside must be referring to the hole in the ground?
There!
Yeah, okay. That didn't happen.
You're talking about under the floor, right?
Huh? Under the floor?
Yes, there's a crawl space under the floor a person can move.
Because the thing is, if somebody did get through there, of course they could have used a light. But here's the thing. If somebody used a light to get through there, which they had to have, or else they wouldn't know where they're going. So if somebody used a light to get in there, we would have seen bits of light coming through the floorboard during the seance. Because yeah, you could have a very thin floorboard, but especially with that loose piece right there, doesn't matter if the cloth is covering, you'd see a little bit of light coming through that, especially since it's a white cloth. You'd see some sort of light coming through the ground. Which is
There
why
was also
that never
a hole
happened.
that connected it to the neighboring room.
If the culprit used the hole, they could have entered and exited the seance room.
If we consider that possibility, then there is another suspect.
Another suspect?
Oh, I can see it clearly.
I hate this part of the trial because they're looking at the wrong parts. Stop focusing on the culprit. Stop focusing on your list of culprits and focus on
culprit sneaked
how
in
the
during
kill
the seance.
happens. And then that helps lower it
By
down.
crawling under the floor.
But it was pitch black during the seance. How could they even see if they were under the floor?
Because it wasn't dark under the floor. You see, our villain...
Frick, I thought that'd work.
The culprit sneaked in. You had a light.
Light? You mean candle?
I mean, Kibo's flashlight function.
Huh? Now hold on a second.
Way too bright.
Kibo could have used that function to get under the floor and sneak into the empty room during the seance.
I said hold on a second.
He used his robot functions to commit the murders.
Hold on a second.
Oh, it's a little light. You can move on the floor. Is that possible?
The culprit sneaked in during the seance.
Not the cage child, not
By
that.
crawling under the floor.
But it was pitch black during the
Is it
seance.
loose floorboard?
How could they even see if they were under the floor?
Because it wasn't dark.
Now, let me look at his flashlight function. Is there anything else that function? Okay. Nope, that doesn't really explain much.
You see, our villain had a light.
I'm gonna start using it. I think it's the second
I
one here. I think so.
That function
Try that.
under the floor.
No. Okay, run it back. Run it back. Next
culprit
one.
sneaked in
Next
during-
up, this one. It has to be one of these three that works with that one. It's because it's too bright, and we'd see it like through the floor. Is that what you're saying?
Could have used that function to get under
Nope.
the floor.
Not the last one. If this one isn't right, I don't know what's going on.
Sneaked in during the seance. By crawling under the floor.
It's this.
Because it wasn't dark under the floor. See, our villain had a light.
Light? You mean candle?
Try this. No. That could also work too.
The culprit sneaked in during the seance. By crawling under the floor.
I don't know. I don't know. After thinking about it, I don't think that's right. Okay.
The culprit.
Pause. I don't know the answer, so yeah, I don't know. Why can I not think of it? Like, if they would just like go for like the actual thing they should be talking about, we don't need to worry about these certain things. We don't need to worry about how the culprit could have done this or the culprit could have done that. We need to talk about how the murder happened. We need to talk about how the killing happened in the first place. Okay, I think I got it.
Sneaked in during the seance.
Of course,
By
it's
crawling.
Hey! E. The V counter.
I don't think the culprit could have used the light while under the
It took
floor.
like 5 different like hits there for incorrect ones, but I'm fine.
There
I'm
was a
good.
hole in the corner of the room.
We're ready to install. You know what? I don't care.
If the light were used, it would have leaked through and we would have seen it.
That's how I was trying to say that there's light going through, but I don't know why it didn't work.
The room was definitely pitch black.
So a light was not shined under the floor, which means you cannot claim I am the culprit.
Jeez, here I thought this would be the case where the murder could only be done by a robot.
You have accused me of being the culprit more than once now, simply because I am a robot. My status as a robot does not mean I am capable of performing superhuman feats. My vision is somewhat poor, and I only possess average physical strength and intelligence.
All right, you made your point. God, now I feel sort of bad for you.
I neither want nor need your pity.
Enough with the flashlight! It's way too bright!
It would have been difficult to move around under the floor in that pitch black darkness. Maybe the floor and the hole have nothing to do with this case.
Then why was floorboard under Tenko lined up funny? Going to think that was so culprit could stab Tenko from under floor.
Ooh, nice observation, Gonta. Are you finally getting used to the class?
Uh-huh. Thank you.
Don't say it like that. You're better off not being used to this kind of stuff.
Maybe they marked Tenko with glowing paint and looked for that. That'd let the culprit find her. Then they could stab her
Are they
through the
intentionally trying to throw all these things from the other
Boy, that sounds really familiar too. But I'm just gonna ignore it.
Her corpse didn't have any trace of glowing paint, though.
Oh, yeah. So then why was that floorboard?
The loose floorboard was the one under Tenko, right? If the culprit used it while she was still alive, she tore.
Who fucking cares? Fussing over that won't get us closer to the culprit!
We shouldn't dismiss this line of inquiry, however. Instead of butting our heads against this, how about we concentrate on another issue?
What other issue?
Perhaps first, we should figure out how and when exactly Tenko was killed.
When? So,
Tenko was in the metal cage for the whole seance, wasn't she? How could someone have gotten to her there?
Maybe the culprit killed her before she went under the metal cage. That's not possible. She was alive at that point.
Yep.
Yes, she was unmistakably alive.
That was right before we blew out the candles, or when the light came.
The floorboard was removed at that point, so it's likely she was already dead then.
So she was killed when the room was dark?
but she was inside cage, right? Going to think it impossible to kill.
But she wasn't killed when the room was dark. It was a...
A different time?
How the fuck should I know? You figure it out, shitheads! Huh? Since Gonta said it was impossible, I'm proposing an alternate theory. Now hurry up and think! If you want to make my golden brain tingle, start circle jerking your lipstick brains!
This trial's going nowhere. We're not making any progress at all.
When Tenko got killed, it wasn't during the seance.
It could not have been done at any other time. She was under the cage the whole time. And she was dead when the cage was lifted.
What about moment cage was lifted?
Like that.
When cage lifted, culprit stabbed Tenko real fast. So fast, no one saw.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Oh my!
I don't think so.
So who lifted the cage?
It was me.
Doesn't make any sense.
Then obviously Himiko is the culprit.
There's no...
Oh, is it the white sheet? Is it? They're not being killed during the seance. It might not be impossible, but there's no evidence for it.
When Tenko got killed,
I think it's the
it
white
wasn't
sheet.
during the seance.
Under the cage.
Okay, the whole time, yes. And then, yep.
What about moment cage was lifted?
No. I think it was. I think it's the weak point, like later on. think.
H.
Obviously, Himiko is the culprit.
This? No. Other. I think it's the sheet because they're saying like right when the cage was lifted, they stabbed her. Then why was the white sheet?
The cage.
Why would the white sheet have blood on it? I think that's what I have to explain. No. There we go.
That's wrong!
No, it wasn't possible to kill her the moment the cage was lifted. Because the inside of the white cloth had Tenko's blood on it. That cloth was removed before. If Tenko was stabbed there wouldn't be blood on the cloth.
What? But how could my golden brain be wrong when it felt so right?
The only possibility is that Tenko was killed during the seance.
I got your remodel right here!
No, it's still wrong to think that Tenko was killed during the seance.
What?
I'm gonna prove it right now. My golden brain is gonna go all out!
Even Shuichi's like, wait, what? You're still thinking that? I thought we all realized that was true. Shuichi was even surprised. Like, what? You actually think that? Wow.
Tenko died after the seance. It
Oh my God.
happened when the sheet was lifted. That was the moment the culprit chose to stab the fuck out of Tenko through the cage. They stuck the thin blade through the gap, and that clean white sheet got stained blood red.
But the weapon was a sickle. Only the blade could have fit through the gaps.
The blade's all you need. If you stick the blade through a gap in the cage, it'd be long enough to reach Tenko, sitting in there with her neck all exposed.
There we go.
I'll cut through your words!
Fast. Oh, frick. It's the marker song. Nope, her neck was right on the ground. Her face was like
Wait
on the
just a
ground.
minute. Tenko wasn't sitting down inside. She was bent over with her forehead against the markers, and the cage
Exactly.
itself was about 3 feet tall.
Yep.
The sickle's blade was too short to reach Tenko while she was in that position.
Then I messed up again? How could this happen? I am so embarrassed.
No worries, Mew. Everyone already knows you're an embarrassment to the human race.
Yeah, no worries.
How embarrassing!
If Shuichi is right, then it's impossible for Tenko to have been killed through the cage.
She couldn't have been killed during the seance since she was in the cage, right?
If she was killed then, the cloth over the cage would have been pierced.
Not during the seance or from below the floor.
Yeah, for a living person.
Huh?
What if Angie's spirit killed Tenko?
What are you talking about? That's not possible.
You don't know that. Some things are impossible for a human, but not for a
Don't say stupid stuff like that.
Stop that now.
Angie's spirit?
Himiko?
Why would Angie's spirit kill Tenko?
What if Tenko killed Angie, and then Angie's spirit came back for...
Like I said, that's impossible. Spirits can't be culprit.
Then explain how the culprit killed Tenko under these impossible circumstances.
I know.
Well,
Just let me talk. Let me talk.
See? You can't explain, can you?
Let me talk.
Only a spirit could have done it!
wait, I know. What if the culprit was hiding inside the cage?
Are you frickin' stupid, Kaito?
If they were in there, they could have stabbed Tenko during the seance.
No.
No. If there was someone else in the cage, we would have
I agree with
noticed.
Kaito. The culprit could have been inside the cage.
The frick you mean you do?
Nonsense. There was no space in the cage for the
Are you trying
culprit
to
to
say it's a
hide.
suicide? Is that what
Maybe
you're
the
saying?
culprit wouldn't need to hide in the first place.
What?
Also, the culprit could have killed her in the cage at any time. I think you know what I'm getting at, right?
The they she's referring to. Oh, so you're saying it's suicide. Interesting. That's not correct, but that's interesting.
I believe Maki is referring to Tenko herself.
What did you say? Are you saying Tenko is the culprit?
She committed suicide.
Suicide?
If she committed suicide, it would explain a lot of things we couldn't figure out. She volunteered to be in the cage, and then stabbed herself during the seance. It wouldn't matter how dark the room was.
But the sickle she was stabbed with was under the floor, right? If Tenko had stabbed herself, wouldn't the sickle still be inside the...
Oh my god. Mew actually said something smart.
Perhaps that explains why the floorboard was removed. After stabbing herself with the sickle, she threw it underneath
No,
the floor.
because if that was true, then there would have been the sickle would have been directly underneath where they were. But the sickle is like way in the corner. The sickle is like way over there in the corner. Not even close to underneath where the cage or where the floorboard was. There's no way that's true.
So she took off the floorboard to get rid of the sick.
Yes, that makes
I
sense.
bet
to
you if she
Gota.
did stab herself, she wouldn't have enough energy with how much blood she was using to throw it all the way over there. Or she would only be able to drop it.
It doesn't make... There's no reason for Tenko to commit suicide.
Maybe I wasn't too far off with the theory I had earlier. You know, about Tenko killing Angie.
Yeah?
Because Tenko and Angie were fighting for your attention, right? Her conscience couldn't handle it anymore. So she decided to end her own life.
What?
But if she was gonna kill herself, why do it during the seance?
She wanted to hide the truth of her suicide.
Really?
There could only be one reason to hide it in a killing game, right? It's to take us down with her.
Take us down?
She wanted us to pick the wrong answer during the class trial, so she could bring us all down.
You do guys
She wanted us to die with her. Okay, well, she probably just wanted Himiko to die with her, but still.
But what are you saying?
I think you don't realize the person you're talking about. We're talking about Tenko here. We're talking about Tenko here. I don't think you
That
realize.
was just a lie.
A lie?
Wait, we should believe Tenko's last word.
The true terror of class trials is that you shouldn't believe everything said.
Himiko, you said that Tenko would never do anything like that. But how can you be so sure? People keep all sorts of secrets. Like Maki. Is it wise of us to trust other people wholeheartedly in this kind of situation?
Jeez, you're such a naive dude.
Naive?
We're all just people, you know? Of course we're gonna have some secrets. What matters is whether there's any malice behind them.
People can lie about how malicious their hidden secrets are.
Well, duh. It's impossible to know for sure what others are. That's why it all comes down to whether or not you believe in yourself. If you get betrayed, it's not their fault. It's your fault for believing in them. That's why I believed in Maki Roll, because I wanted to believe in her.
Just because you're acting all cool doesn't mean you get to skip training.
Hey, come on. Don't you think you're being a little too strict?
Well, we come from different backgrounds. So for now, let's agree to disagree. No one ever called me naive before. And from Kaito? Seriously?
Whether or not I believe, my heart can't reach Miko anymore. But I want to believe in her. She wouldn't commit suicide. She wouldn't try to take us down. That's what I want to believe.
Me too. Gota, no can believe Tenko commits suicide.
But if Tenko did, if you insist we believe in Tenko, then provide a reason to do so.
A proper reason.
All right, I'll give you a reason.
Is there a reason?
Yes, there is. Will you trust me, Maki? If it turns out I'm wrong, you can blame me all you like. But for now, I need you to trust in my detective work.
I don't believe Tenko would kill herself, is what she said. She said, see you guys after. I doubt she had a sudden change in heart. Just because we don't know how she was killed doesn't mean that was suicide. Shouldn't be satisfied with that as if we keep thinking. If we keep thinking, we'll find the truth. That means we have to believe in Tenko. I'll make them all believe. This is a long trial. We're still not at that halfway point. Jesus.
So far, suicide seems to be the best explanation.
Her plan was to take us down with her. So she hit us.
Tenko's last round. I'm gonna crush the ninja in the back of her neck with deep, but probably not enough to kill her immediately.
They were true intentions.
Tenko's not that kind of person.
What about Monica without 3? Okay, okay, the victim was discovered. Okay. The second victim, yeah, the victim's body was discovered in a vacant room on the 4th floor. The victim was stabbed in the back of her neck, resulting in death, knowing their injuries were detected.
But if Tenko did commit suicide, it would explain how she died during the seance. She could have secretly brought the sickle and then stabbed herself with it.
Finally, with the last of her strength. Sickle underneath.
No. Hey. That's not what I tried to do. I know what I gotta do.
Suicide seems to be the best explanation.
Her plan was to take us down with her. So she hid her true intentions.
We're not
That kind of person.
So,
But if Tenko did commit suicide,
I think I got it.
it would explain how she died during seance. Secret brought the sickle and then stabbed herself with it.
Finally, with the
There we go.
I always know the truth.
We have to lie and say that she died instantly, not...
Tenko couldn't have thrown the sickle under the floor. Because she died instantly.
Yeah.
instantly.
I'm certain of it. My investigation determined that she died instantly.
What's your opinion, Maki? I'd like to hear from someone who specializes in murder.
Maki.
You're right. I completely forgot about that important detail. Tenko died instantly. As an assassin, I specialize in killing my targets swiftly. I have no doubt that Tenko is killed immediately.
Words of a true killer. Pretty sure we can believe everything.
Thank you, Maki.
How could you forget that, Maki Roll? You better apologize to
Excuse me?
It's okay, Kaito, really. No apology necessary. Anyway, Tenko died so suddenly that she couldn't have gotten rid of the sickle. Knowing that, the theory that she killed herself just doesn't fit, correct?
Just like I thought. Tenko would have missed.
Thank goodness he...
Which means someone definitely killed Tenko during the seance.
Her suicide was considered because we could not determine how she was killed.
No! There must have been a way! We're...
Did any of the participants witness anything peculiar? If you know something, please speak up. It could...
Not a bad idea. We should remember what happened at the seance. I'll try to remember, I'm sure, something. Some kind of clue that will help me solve the mystery. How about the big freaking noise that was there? That's something. Yeah, sound during the seance.
Did anything seem out of the ordinary?
During the seance? What is something?
The fact that the seance failed. The ritual was perfect, and yet it failed. How utterly strange.
Now think about it. We're all singing the song. Something falls.
There.
I agree!
A big old noise.
Himiko, you think that something fell because of that sound you heard, right?
It sounded like something heavy fell down and hit the floor really. It could have fallen down.
Fallen down? There wasn't anything on the ceiling that could have fallen down. The sound was pretty loud. It did seem like something hit the floorboards.
Doesn't that sound like something hit the floorboards? That sound has something to do with the other thing that happened in the dark. Like? Could you explain it, Epic Boy? What's that happened in the dark? The loose floorboard?
This is it!
Yep.
I think the floorboard coming off had something to do with that sound. That floorboard came loose at some point during the seance, right?
Was the floorboard underneath such a loud?
It was the sound of an intense
If the impact was that intense, then it could have loosened the floorboard.
That's true, there would have had to be a strong impact to make that sound. What was it? What could it possibly be?
All right, then. Let's go with that. We all gotta put our heads together now.
How about it's a person stepping on it? Person running over and stepping on it.
So what made the floorboard come loose?
Crosspiece?
Judging from the sound, there must have been considerable force.
Someone who participated in the sale. Maybe that person tore off the floorboard. That wouldn't make such a loud crashing sound. Maybe the wooden statue fell over.
No.
But that statue was still on top of the cage.
Culprit hide under floor. That stood up with such might.
I already said there was no one under the floor.
Someone must have stomped through the floor piece.
Yep.
I agree.
Kokichi is right. The floorboard came loose because someone stomped on it.
The floorboards fit perfect. Going to make sure first time we go to empty room.
When we first saw the room, yes. But when I looked again during the investigation, one of the cross pieces supporting the floorboards was cut off. After examining the cut, I concluded that it must have been done deliberately.
Someone? You mean the culprit, right? Why'd they do that?
What did the culprit stand to gain by cutting the cross?
Where they stand to gain, that's the question. To solve this case, we need to think carefully about the crosspiece and floorboard. Tenko's body was at one end of the loose floorboard, and the crosspiece that had been cut was on the other end of the floorboard. The unsupported part was outside the cage, which could have been stomped on. When one of the crosspieces was cut, the other two were intact. One of them was right under Tenko. The other was in the center, right about where the edge of the cage was. What was the culprit attempting to achieve by stomping on the floorboard? Hank, come on, think. Okay. What happened when the loose floorboard was stepped on? Okay, S. SE. S. No. Oh, so the first word seesaw. Seesaw effect? Okay, C. Okay. Where's T? Where's T? Looking for a T here. There it is. Okay, seesaw effect. This is why I think this is when I feel like pretty soon they're gonna figure out like the whole thing, because once they figure out how the weapon got there, they're gonna all be like, oh yeah, it is Kyo.
The crosspiece at one end of the floorboard had been cut off. The other two cross pieces holding up that board were close to the cage, meaning if you were to apply force to the end of the floorboard with no crosspiece, the next crosspiece would act as a fulcrum to turn the floorboard into a lever. A lever capable of lifting up Tenko's entire body.
Her whole body.
Yeah, that sounds like a seesaw, all right. But why bother lifting Tenko's body?
They couldn't have killed Tenko like that. Unless they used the sickle.
That's exactly it. Using the seesaw trick, it was possible to kill Tenko with a sickle.
Huh? How?
In order for the culprit to kill Tenko with a seesaw trick, the placement of the sickle is the most important factor.
There we go. Floorboard seesaw, the cage, and the blood on the white fabric. What can I draw from this? Only one place the sickle could have been, and it's consistent with evidence. No. Top of the cage.
That's it!
sickle was at the top of the iron cage, with the blade facing down.
Yep.
The reason we didn't see it was because of the fabric covering the cage. Also, the wooden statue kept the blade in place. It's true that the sickle's handle was thick, which made the statue wobble, but the statue's weight kept it from falling over. Once everything was in place, if you stepped hard enough on the seesaw, Tenko's body would have shot upward and hit the blade on the top of the cage. She was bent over, meaning the sickle's blade would have connected with her neck.
The 6-inch sickle blade wasn't long enough to stab Tenko in a crouched position, but with the floorboard acting as a seesaw, it could compensate for the blade's length.
Bringing the victim to the sickle rather than bringing the sickle to the victim. That's definitely an unorthodox idea.
It's crazy. It would explain how Tenko got stabbed while she was in the cave.
So the sound we heard was the culprit stomping on the floorboard.
That impact make floorboard come loose.
Looks like we got ourselves a good old-fashioned seesaw homicide. Wait, what the hell's a seesaw homicide? That's fucking crazy!
The craziness is what really makes the killing game fun, you know? They can't get away with murder the normal way, so they gotta think outside the box. Kudos, culprit! You did a great job keeping me entertained.
Indeed. Well played, Himiko.
Yeah?
It was you, wasn't it? The one behind the seesaw homicide. Why? Because she's the only one capable of carrying out this plan.
The only one?
Because this seesaw homicide required its location to be prepared.
By cutting the crosspiece beneath the floorboard, you mean?
Then the culprit would need to lure their victim into the prepared room.
Okay, then how'd she set up the weapon then?
That is why you chose that room for the seance.
That doesn't matter. How did she set up the weapon then?
Himiko was the one who chose the site for the...
She likely found out about my plans for the seance.
You were quite vocal about the seance, Kyo. You even had
It
instructions
doesn't matter
for it in
who
your
picked
lab.
the room. It matters who set up the weapon. That's the whole point.
Our culprit, Himiko, prepared her seesaw trap ahead of time. Then she waited for me to host the seance and suggested the middle room. She led us all into holding the seance right where she wanted it.
How'd that happen?
Then she killed Tenko, all according to plan.
How did she set up the sickle then? When we were setting up the whole thing, the only thing Himiko helped with was the statue. So she never had time to put the sickle there.
That's
Because
a lie, right?
Shuichi and Kokichi
Himiko
set the stage
did
up,
such a thing?
and Kyo set the little tarp thing up. The only thing Himiko helped with was the statue. She never had time to put the sickle there.
In the end, Himiko, who Tenko cherished and loved, tragically killed her.
Come on, give me my turn.
Wait! We don't know that.
Give me my turn.
He's
I know
wrong.
what's going
Right,
on. Give me my
Himiko?
turn.
Nico?
What's wrong, Himiko?
It's true that using the middle room is Himiko's idea, but does that mean that Himiko really killed Tenko? Something like that really happened? It's so cruel. Guess we're gonna figure out how we're gonna fix that situation in the next episode, because we're going to intermission. Intermission time. Can I save my game? Thank you.
Well now.
So, I'm gonna leave this episode of Danganronpa V3 Killing Harmony here. We reached a halfway point. In the next episode, we are going to finish off this class trial. Get it all done, get execution out of the way, and finish off Chapter 3. So we can then move on to Chapter 4. Anyways, I'm gonna leave this episode here. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you guys did, make sure you guys like this video. If you guys have been enjoying my videos lately, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. Mine is totally free. You can unsubscribe anytime. Help me get the 115 subscribers as soon as possible. As always, I will see you guys in the next episode.